This is episode 15 of Here's to the Rubble. That was Wednesday by Killjane. And that's who we're going to be talking to today. But as usual, I'm joined by Steve. Steve, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I can't complain.
No.
I guess I could complain a little bit. I was talking to you a little bit about it before the show began. I'm a little bit just groggy, I guess, right now. I just got my second vaccine shot, but I'm still pretty excited to be here. So.
Yeah, definitely excited to talk to Killjane today. We got Colin and Claudia.
What's up?
Yep. Hello.
How you guys doing?
Good. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming on.
Happy to have you guys.
Just start off, what have you guys been listening to today? Or recently?
Recently, yeah.
How about you, Claudia?
Alright, I used to listen to them like a year ago, but I've gotten more into them lately. Just the band Destroy Boys. Fucking love them.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything in particular by them that you've been listening to that you want to talk about?
They have this one song with this bass intro called BFF. I don't know, every time I hear it, it just like gets me. I'm like, yeah, that's good.
Oh yeah. Good old bass intro.
Yeah.
This is a very pro bass podcast.
Bass friendly podcast.
Bass friendly
Yeah.
podcast, bass player friendly.
Yeah.
Love it.
For me, I recently was listening to a lot of Limp Bizkit.
Oh, yeah?
I fucking love
Okay.
Limp Bizkit.
Nice.
And then listen to Prof. He's like a rapper.
Yeah, I've been listening to him a bit recently.
Yeah, he dropped a new album. It's okay. A lot of Fiddler.
Hell yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Fiddler. They're like a huge inspiration to me. And then
rock.
I have been re-listening to some Brockhampton.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, that's mainly it right now.
That's sick, man.
How about
What
you,
about
Steve?
RJ? You got anything?
Oh.
Oh, okay. I asked you first. So you gotta go.
All right. Actually, reggae band called Iatera just released an album. I've been rocking that a bit. And the Elevators, another reggae group, just released an EP, I think. And both of them
Sick.
are killer. I can't remember what they're called right now, though.
Not gonna lie, never really been heavy into reggae, but I respect that nonetheless.
Yeah, RJ's like a pretty big reggae guy. RJ and Gage, I know, both listen to quite a bit of it, and he's tried to get me into it, but I just keep on saying I'm gonna listen to this huge playlist that he sent me, and I keep on just not doing it. I keep on not doing it.
Yeah, just recently, Gage kind of just like ended his friendship with punk rock, and reggae is his only friend now. Just like overnight.
Basically.
I've been listening to a weird mix of stuff lately. It's funny. It happens every now and then. I listen to like a lot of like metal and like thrash and stuff like that, like growing up and then like high school and stuff. And every now and then I stop listening to it, and then I remember how much I love it, so I go back and I listen to a bunch of it. And that's what I've been doing lately. I forgot how much I like genuinely love Megadeth. Like that band is like so good. So I've been listening to a lot of Megadeth, and then also I've recently been listening to Phoebe Bridgers, which is like the exact opposite of Megadeth, but also fantastic. Her stuff is sad.
Yeah.
You know, that YouTuber, he's like sort of a large Irish man, K-Mac 2020.
Yes, I'm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's great. He's funny.
I will never not think of Megadeth in his video, or like every Megadeth song. It's like, I hate the government.
Yeah.
I never really got into Megadeth, not gonna lie.
That's fair, man. Something about Mustaine's like guitar playing though to me is just like, whoa. And I always thought that their riffs were a little more interesting than Metallica's. And when it comes to like thrash, there's the big four: Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer. And out of all those, Anthrax is really the only one that I haven't listened to a ton of. But I was a huge Metallica guy growing up, but lately I've been getting more into Megadeth and Slayer just because like I guess for me, there's more to discover from them, so it feels like I'm finding something new, even though it's all stuff that's been out and like critically acclaimed for years or whatever. But yeah,
My
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
my friends went to a Slayer concert many years ago. I was like, oh, what was it like? And they're like, oh, a lot of Nazis.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
They're like big bald fuckers. I was like, oh, that sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been lucky. I've never had to run into any of those, but I've also never been to a Slayer concert, so maybe that's why.
That's true.
I went to a Metallica concert with Avenged Sevenfold and Gojira, and that was pretty sick.
Bench Sevenfold. There are a lot of roofers there.
Probably, man. Honestly,
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know. That's an interesting thing, though. The like, kind of, there is that stereotype, kind of associated with heavy metal. Like, I remember when RJ and I were first becoming friends. He was a huge punk guy. I was a huge metal guy, and that was one thing he would always like give me shit about or joke about. And I never really got that because I'd never experienced that. But he was like, "Oh, you're a metal fan. I didn't realize you were a Nazi." And I was like, "Huh." I was like, "Oh, I didn't think I was one, but I guess that comes with the territory. I don't know." But yeah, I don't know.
Dude, that's why I've always really liked deathcore and grindcore because
Yep.
like more often than not when I meet like grindcore fans, they're just like regular looking dudes. Like I would never guess that. Remember a guy when I was like 14 got me into grindcore, and he was this guy I met at like I don't remember where, but he was just like 5'6" motherfucker, and he was like he's like 20 something. He's a photographer. He wore like flannels and khakis only. Like it looked like I'd meet him at a church.
Nice.
And so,
Actually,
like, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, it's funny you mentioned that. I have a buddy of mine who's also a bass player. It's so funny because he is like super into like Cannibal Corpse and Slipknot and all these like bands that like, I mean, even if they're like, oh, their music isn't really that heavy in comparison to other stuff, but like, their imagery is very, visceral and violent and like, not very Christian. He's like super Christian, super wholesome guy. He doesn't even swear, but he just he loves Cannibal Corpse, and he's like an insane like heavy metal bassist. Like, but yeah, it's super funny because I never would have guessed like from like even the way that he wears like the Cannibal Corpse shirts and stuff like that, and he's got a beard and he's got like an Ibanez bass and stuff like that. And then like, yeah, I was talking to him like when we first met or whatever, and like he was like, yeah, I went to like 4 years of Bible college and blah blah blah, this and that. And I was like, wow, all right, did not see that coming at all, man.
That's pretty fucking wild.
It's pretty funny. I never would have guessed it, like just looking at him. But super nice guy, salt of the earth. It's kind of funny though how that works. Like sometimes, I mean, people, their look doesn't necessarily like relate to their personality as much as it relates to like their scene or like what kind of music they listen to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I honestly sort of look for that in people. Like, most of my closest friends are sort of like that. Like, my roommate, he's pretty big into metal. Him and I are both really into like Chelsea Grin and stuff, and he like genuinely is like a guitarist for like a worship band. Like he wears like nothing but flannels and khakis, and he's a tax accountant and like all this shit. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of funny. People who I meet often who like dress super metal are actually into like the weakest metal.
Yeah,
like, I remember I worked at Chick-fil-A, and there were these two regulars who were like the gothest people I've ever seen. So one day I asked them, like, what are you into?
Let me guess. Black Veil Brides and Axe King Alexandria and bands like that.
Yeah, they were like, we love making this in white. And
I was like, there you
fuck out of here.
That's
like,
funny.
what the fuck? You dress like fucking like grave diggers, and you're into like Hot Topic metal.
Damn, that's pretty funny. Speaking of like the way you dress and looks and stuff like that, I find it really interesting. Like looking at like the pictures of you guys online. The mask that you got there, the ski mask, Claudia. What's that all about?
Well, kind of well. First of all, I thought it just looked cool, and then
It
it's kind
absolutely
of like
does. It's super cool.
it's kind of like this character-esque thing, and it's kind of not only does it look cool, but kind of symbolic in a way.
Okay.
I have social anxiety, so it helps with that, and it's just I don't know, it's just this cool thing that I've grown into.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, honestly. It's like a cool, like you said, it was one of the first things that I noticed really, looking at your guys' pictures and stuff like that, because like like your guys' music is cool. So I was like, oh well, let's take a look at the band itself, and that was something that really stuck out to me. Like that's something that like stayed in my mind, and that's kind of interesting that it started as like something for you to kind of just like I don't know, deal with that social anxiety, but now it's kind of become like I don't know, something more than that. I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked, Steve, because I was thinking the exact same thing when I was listening to him. I'm like, yeah, that mask thing is cool. It reminded me of like Masked Intruder.
I was gonna say Masked Intruder, yeah.
Which I like Masked Intruder, but I feel like they don't like sound as cool as they look.
Yeah. Whereas I think you guys.
Yeah, I
sound as
think
cool
you
as
guys
look,
sound as cool as you look, but Masked Intruder, they really don't.
That's how I feel about Guar.
Yeah.
They just look so
True.
silly.
That's funny. I guess we're starting beef with Masked Intruder now.
Yeah.
Actually, sorry, just to interject
Oh, go right ahead.
thing about the mask. Initially, it actually started from the first bassist.
Yeah.
Jeanette. She was just, I know her from my childhood long ago, and she was pretty reclusive and just pretty, I don't know, like not a very public person. She doesn't have any social media. She still has like a flip phone.
I respect
And
that.
yeah, dude, I kind of do too, honestly. And I was like, oh, like, what if you like never show your face? She's got like long blonde hair. And then she was like, oh, what if I wore a ski mask instead? That'd be kind of cool. Something to make it stand out. I'm like,
That's
oh,
sick.
yeah, that works. And then eventually she left. And yeah, it's continued onward.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. It's just something that I've grown into, you know?
Mm-hmm. Totally, yeah. Actually, that's it was something that we were kind of talking about, like the podcast guys or whatever in the group chat before the episode too. I thought that was kind of interesting. That on your guys' Instagram it says you guys have an undisclosed amount of members. Do you guys have secret members that come in and play sometimes, or what's the deal with that? Or is that just a like the membership is kind of in flux sort of deal, or what? Because on your guys' Spotify it says you guys are like a duo. And I have some questions about how that works with performing live as well. Like, so do you guys have a drummer when you play live, or do you? What do you guys do with that?
We do all backing tracks. Not all
Interesting.
backing tracks. We got drumming backing tracks and guitar backing tracks, and then we have Claudia on bass and me on vocals. So it's just us two doing live. When it comes to the undisclosed members thing, we actually do have an undisclosed amount of, I guess, contributors is the word.
Oh, okay, interesting.
People who do shit like that. I'm like a big fan of Queens of the Stone Age.
Oh,
and
hell yeah!
I like found out apparently that like their last album had like 1 million features. Their album Villains.
Yeah. Because didn't Dave Grohl play drums on that?
Dave Grohl was on it. Alex Turner of Arctic Monkeys was on it, but they don't list it, and so it's sort of like up to the listener to find out. And so I thought that was cool as shit.
I love that album, by the way. Great album. That's the only album. I don't have a record player, but I own that album on vinyl. So I don't know. I guess whatever that says about me, but
I don't know. Not very like financially frugal, I guess. But yeah, no, there are like a good amount of collaborators. I don't want to expose who, but I will say Jeanette wrote the bass line for Wednesday, but an undisclosed person wrote the bass solo for Wednesday.
Ooh.
A certain friend of mine heard it and was like, I think you should have a bass solo, like right there. And I was like, all right. And then they wrote it and put it in.
Huh.
Nice.
That's an interesting way of doing things.
Yeah. Like
Well,
open to the
speaking,
public almost.
what's that? Sorry.
It's like open to the public almost.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Speaking of your guys' music, I guess we could probably play. Which is the first song that we have up? RJ or Gage?
It was.
Was that Teeth Gap?
Nope, we're
Or
doing
starting with, or-
Swallow first.
Okay, cool. So Swallow is the more recent one, right? That you guys put out just this year.
Correct, yes.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, so why don't we play that and then we can talk about it a little bit.
Hell yeah, that was sick.
Sick, man. I was trying not to say hell yeah, RJ. We always that's like the thing after like every time someone plays a song on the podcast, we're always like hell yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, hell yeah, I think is the correct response to that.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, man. That song's really good. I think I've added that actually to a couple of my playlists already.
Sick.
Well, I downloaded before. I mean, I think this was like right when like a couple weeks ago or something. I downloaded your guys' EP. Jimmy did it first, and I've listened to that like quite a few times already. But then yeah, you guys have like a bunch of other singles out too, right? That is an EP, right? Like I'm correct in saying that it's not an
Yeah,
album.
that is an EP. Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah, but yeah, like your guys' stuff is like I don't know. I really like the sound you guys have. You guys describe yourselves as like garage rock, punk rock. Like, what's the deal with that? Like,
I would say garage rock. What would you say, Claudia?
I agree, yeah.
yeah, definitely a real garage rock vibe. Like I was saying to RJ and Gage, I was like, I don't know, some of it kind of reminds me of like the White Stripes, which I don't know if that's fair to say. I feel like it is. Do you guys want to talk about like some of your guys' musical influences? Like earlier, I remember you mentioned Fiddler, which, by the way, fantastic band.
Yep, big fan of Fiddler. I think me,
so, yeah,
Gage, and Steve have Fiddler patches on our vests.
Yeah, we absolutely do. Yeah. So yeah, I'd be curious to hear you guys talk a little bit about like who are some bands that you guys draw inspiration from.
Well, I really like Fiddler, I guess, inspiration-wise, because they sort of like, I feel like, at least on their first album, take a lot of blues, rockish influences and
album.
make it into like intense punk.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of that.
Totally.
Also, Fiddler sings almost exclusively about drugs and sex.
yep.
Which seems to be a recurring theme.
Yeah, two things that I also enjoy writing about a great deal. So yeah, I just sort of like enjoy that a great deal. This is gonna sound like comically pretentious, but
Oh, go right ahead.
I don't like exactly like think about like, oh, like what should this song sound like? Like occasionally I'll like listen to a song and like I'll think of a song from that. Like Wednesday,
Mm-hmm. Like draw some inspiration.
yeah, like Wednesday was inspired by a Steve Lacy song. But like I think musicians just sort of subconsciously create what they would like to hear and what like
Absolutely, totally.
they listen to, and so like I don't know, I guess a lot of early Green Day and early Green Day, The Offspring. Yeah, that's mainly what I think of, I guess. Shit like that.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh, those are good answers. All those bands are definitely ones that I listen to as well.
Oh,
and that didn't sound comically pretentious. I think you said it fine. Don't worry.
I'll say right now, Who Killed Phil is like a pretty blatant ripoff of a Black Keys song, actually.
Oh, really? Interesting. Black Keys are also great.
Yep.
They really are. I like their early shit a lot.
What about you, Claudia? Oh, sorry,
I
RJ, I didn't mean to.
That's what I was gonna say.
Recently, for the past like 2 years or so, I've been trying to get into metal more. First metal, well, new metal band I ever heard was Slipknot, and like early Slipknot, like Paul Gray. Yeah. Definitely an inspiration for me. I miss him a lot.
Yeah,
Paul
rest in peace.
Bassist. You know, and like Korn, when I hear that deep bass, because their basses are tuned so low, I love it, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
If you were asking inspiration for like myself, fucking nothing, dude. I'm a garbage guitar player, dude. Like, no, if anyone that inspires me, I wouldn't be good enough to even like come close to like copying.
I feel that. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention this. Idols is a huge inspiration.
Oh, Idols are great. Yeah.
Not musically mainly, their sound.
Yeah. My roommate Stellar of Gratuitous Platypus, he was actually also on the cast, but he got me into them like back in like December or something when we were still living together. And man, I think he showed me the what was it? It was them live at where was it? It was some radio show that I should definitely know what it is, but I watched just the live performance of them playing, and it was insane. They're really cool. That's a band I think I need to check out a little more too.
Yeah, I'm seeing them live I'm seeing them live in October with
Lucky you.
Jeanette, actually, because I booked the tickets when she was still in the band, and then I hit her up recently of like, you still want to go to the show? She's like, yeah, I'm down. So we're going to that in
Sick.
October.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
I'm very jealous.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to ask. I think I saw on Twitter that you guys played a show recently, but that might have been another band. You guys play any shows recently?
Yeah, we played 2 actually.
How'd those go?
They went pretty well. The first show was supposed to be at a venue in the city, and then there was a gang shooting the day before.
Oh, jeez.
I'm pretty sure 2 people died actually. So
Yeah.
it's pretty insane. So
Yeah.
it got moved to the garage of someone's house, and it was the most I have ever sweat in my entire life.
I'm still.
Dude, fucking respect Claudia for wearing a jumpsuit in that weather.
Right.
And the ski mask too.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That show went pretty well. I pulled a muscle in my back, like on the second song.
Oh, jeez.
And then the second show was on Saturday, so like a few days ago. That was really fucking fun. That was a venue, like some guy's house, but it actually was a venue, like a DIY punk venue. That was a lot of fun. The main thing that stood out to me during that show actually was like how incredible the bands were that played. Dude.
Yeah.
Fucking shout out Vacants, this like awesome like indie band that played. They're incredible.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
I really like the first band that came on, Cult Kids. They were really good.
Oh yeah, there's like 2-piece grunge band. They were really incredible too.
That's sick. It's always awesome like being on a lineup with like other good bands. Like even it's always cool like playing shows with friends and stuff like that, but like occasionally when you get put on like a bill and you're like, oh, I wonder who these other guys are, and you actually hear them and you just get so jazzed up like listening to these like, I don't know, it's always cool when that happens, when it's like, oh shit, these guys are good, like I'm glad that I'm here. Like not just to play but just to listen.
Yeah, I like tried to mention that to someone in like the nicest way I could of like, I don't know, when you go to like DIY shows, like all those people are like mostly unknown, and so like it's not out of the question that like in your lifetime going to shows as an artist, you're going to hear like some bad bands.
No, absolutely.
And so like dude, that show was just like like an incredible band after another, and I was like, holy shit, this is incredible.
Yeah, that's damn it. I say this every episode, and I'm gonna keep saying it until I play a damn show. But every episode, I always just get so jealous. Like someone was like, "Yeah, talk about the shows that you've played to bands," and then they're like, "Yeah, we did something awesome," and I'm like, "Fuck, it's been too long." But yeah, that's wicked, man.
Yeah, the garage show was actually the first show with Claudia.
Oh,
yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So was Claudia a fairly recent addition then? When did that all go down?
I'm trying to think. Do you remember?
It was like a month back, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago.
Yeah.
Killjane started actually back in 2019, but we like sort of got going during COVID, and I don't know, when shows started back up again, Jeanette just sort of realized it was kind of a big commitment, and so she sort of got tired of that, and it was too much for her, so she left, which was fine. There's nothing between us. But yeah, we hadn't really played actually any shows. We played. I played one show alone at this like festival in Chicago, like a small festival, like this dude's backyard. That was pretty fun. And then her and I played one show at a bar in Wisconsin, and that was super fun.
Hell yeah.
So then, how did Claudia end up joining then? Like, how did that all work out?
Claudia is also in another band, which, yeah, we'll leave unannounced at this time.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
But to keep her identity secret.
Fair.
But yeah, I had met her at a prior, and then she hit me up because she wanted to expand, like the project she was in, and Jeanette was on her way out, so it was like really good timing. So yeah.
Huh, interesting. So, is that this is a dumb question. I was gonna ask before, but then I guess we kind of already talked about who the previous members are or whatever. But I was gonna be like, oh, Claudia the 11th. Is she like the 11th bass player you've had? Like all the other ones were also just named Claudia?
No, Claudia thought of that, like the number 11.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's a cool like stage name, Claudia the 11th.
Yeah, I like it.
We initially actually had a drummer a long time ago.
Actually, I was gonna ask about who plays the drums on you guys' tracks then, because you did mention that there's like a vast network of unannounced or what was the word I used earlier? Undisclosed members.
I do drums. I have an electronic.
Oh, no kidding.
I have an electronic kit. I used to have a real kit,
Yeah.
and then I moved to an apartment, so I had to sell it. But
Yeah.
prior, we did actually have a drummer named Anthony. But initially, Killjane was supposed to be an indie band only, and then I got pretty involved in the Chicago punk scene, and was like, oh, there's obviously a wider market for punk than there is indie, so I decided to shift it over to that. And then he was like all about indie and only wanted to do that, and so after like a couple months, we kicked him out.
Fair, yeah.
It was pretty fucking annoying.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. Like, if you guys are going two completely different ways within the same project, it's not really going to work out, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
Yeah, that's too bad. But I mean, that's interesting. I didn't realize that you were the one who played. So then, basically, when you're playing live, those are your drums too that you played.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I do all the drum work as well.
Nice.
Fun fact, actually.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Fun fact, actually. Swallow is the only song in the Killjane discography where it's just me.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
That was the transitioning period when Jeanette wanted to leave. And she was like, that's another thing, too, is Jeanette and I and Claudia and I, too, actually, just send files back. We almost never jam in person. And
really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm a busy guy.
No, that's totally fair. And like I've done that before with other bands that I've been in. But I always found that like I don't know, I personally like I find it easier to gel and like write stuff if I'm like practicing with other people in person. But obviously with COVID and stuff, you know, that really wasn't an option for a while. So there was like one project that I was working with where we did that. We wrote a song by just like sending files to each other, and like that was actually it was a lot of fun. It was kind of interesting how that ended up working out. But that's surprising because I feel like your guys, it sounds very like tight. It sounds good on all these tracks. Like if you had told me that you recorded all these in the same room, I would have believed you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I like showed Claudia I showed Jeanette like all this stuff with like recording, and she got like a little interface to use for bass. But no, Swallow was when she wanted out and was kind of like dragging her feet, and so I played bass for that song as well.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
That's why the bass line is so like insanely simple in that song. I'm not capable of more.
Fair enough. I guess should we? Oh yeah, go ahead, RJ.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we could take a listen to the second song, which was
that was Teeth Gap, right?
Yeah, Teeth Gap.
There you go. I just got the order mixed up.
Right. Yeah, so we could take a listen, talk about it afterwards.
communication skills are weak. Maybe a month it'll reach its peak, but I got no fucking clue when I'll be able to see you. Who knows? I don't know shit. I can't predict or pretend I know dick. Everyone's showing off their nails and getting more frail. Every day we're unaware of the hell we're surrounded by. I doubt you'll die. Just take this as a threat. Please stay inside so calamity can be tossed to the side. And in a year we can pretend we were special for being alive. TV on, but unaware. If you want to chew the fat, you'll have to meet my stare. Behind my eyes, I'm not really there anymore. I'm so bored. I know how to keep myself entertained, but I haven't seen another soul in 30 days. It's chipping away in my brain. But while I'm here, I'm under stress. Not seeing a single soul in several weeks is putting my mental psyche to the test. And I know it'll be over soon, but I feel a sense of gloom lurking in my room. The isolation has become my obsession. Get me out of here.
Yeah, that song definitely rocks. I like that a lot when I listened to it earlier.
Oh yeah, man. I was curious about something. You guys, you mentioned earlier that the Chicago punk scene is a lot more, I guess, a lot busier than the indie scene in Chicago. As someone who is very much not from Chicago, I'm from Canada, in fact, completely wrong country. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about like the Chicago punk scene, like what that's kind of like there.
Claudia, you got any experience in the Chicago punk scene we never talked about before? Do you have anything to offer there?
I don't know. I just, the shows and the environment is something that's I've more recently gotten into in the past year or so, playing in bands and stuff. And the Chicago punk scene, I don't know, it's just this environment that I love to be around. The basement shows, the DIY shows, the DIY recording. It's all just this creativity that's just overwhelming in a good way.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome. I've always heard great things about the Chicago punk scene in general. And Riot Fest is in Chicago, right?
I believe
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Yeah, and I know they always post like, weeks leading up to and after Riot Fest. They do a lot of shows still just around Chicago. So yeah, the music scene in Chicago's got to be pretty good.
We currently, right now, I would say, mainly exist in the Aurora punk scene, which is a adjacent suburb of the city.
Okay.
But yeah, I got into the Chicago punk scene back in like February of 2019. I saw this band called The Big Cheese and this band called Death of Self. I'm a big fan of Death of Self. And yeah, I don't know, I met a lot of people there and sort of got in touch with people, and yeah, I don't know, it's really all I have to offer. I just went to a handful of shows and realized it was a lot more abundant than like the indie scene that I wasn't even prior aware of. So yeah, this is my involvement of it so far.
Interesting. So were you then like just involved in other like like either of you guys, were you just like involved in other music projects in like Chicago before and then kind of stumbled into the punk scene with Killjane, or was it like or was this like your guys' first like musical venture, I guess?
Claudia, how about you?
This is like kind of my first one. With my other band, I'm not gonna say the name for undisclosed
Yeah.
reasons,
Yeah.
but first band, it's more of like a Midwestern emo band,
Oh,
and
sick.
that kind of led me into the punk scene a little bit.
Okay.
That makes sense, yeah.
And I saw that you guys released a music video for Wednesday recently. I haven't gotten the chance to actually watch it yet, but you want to talk about recording that at all?
Yeah, that was in the video, Jeanette is a lot taller than me. That's because she copped out on the video than like an hour before she couldn't show. So the person playing Jeanette is someone else. I'll leave undisclosed. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty fun. It was filmed in my parents' basement like a month before I moved out. It was like 3 a.m. So I'm like whisper singing in that video in actuality. And then also in the video, I thought it'd be funny if like during the little interludes in the song, I'd like light a cigarette, have a single puff, and then throw it away. But because I was in my parents' house, I couldn't like smoke a full cigarette. So we had a friend off to the side who I would like throw the cigarettes out of the camera shot, and then he would take them and like put them in a cup of water we had. Yeah, it was honestly incredibly stressful because like, yeah, I don't know. My person who was filming it, his girlfriend was like super tired. So I think she really wanted to leave.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So yeah, sorry, going back a little thing you meant about like bands prior to Killjane. I was never really involved in any scene before this one.
Really?
I've been in a handful of bands. I drummed for a punk band called Brute Canal.
I like that name a lot.
Yeah. That existed mainly in the Crystal Lake punk scene, which is very small, the suburb about an hour away from the city. And then I had two of my own solo projects. One was like, I don't know, industrial metal, Nine Inch Nails type shit.
Okay.
And the other one was like experimental, like not Death Grips-esque, more, I don't know, just like very intense shit.
Huh.
Yeah, but like during those times, I think I played a total of 2 shows under each moniker, and they all took place in my basement, and would just have like friends from around the area. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, really prior to Killjane, I wasn't involved in like a punk scene or any scene very, very heavily at least.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that, considering like, I mean, Killjane sounds great. Like this is a band that, I mean, I would have assumed that both you guys were like, yeah, we've been like in the scene for a long time. We've been working on a lot of stuff, and then like we came together and made this thing. Like, but that's interesting that this is kind of both you guys like first like, I I'm trying to figure out how to say this, but like I don't know, Killjane. It sounds very polished. It sounds like you guys are like.
Sounds like you've been doing it for a while.
There you go. That's what I was trying to say. Thank you, RJ.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh well, not to toot my own horn here, but I've actually been releasing music since like 2014.
Oh,
well, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like next to this, I would say probably sound engineering is my biggest passion. So, yeah, I don't know, man. This Killjane is polished, but there are so many releases just leading up to it that are absolute garbage.
Right.
Well, that's how it works, right? Nobody like their first thing they make is just like incredible. Like usually you have to like I have. I don't even really want to talk about it. I have like a bunch of like stuff on SoundCloud that if anybody found them now, I was super proud of it at the time when I was like 16 or whatever. And now I'm just like, if anyone listens to this, I will die.
Oh, what's it called?
I'm not talking about it on here.
I'll find
it.
I'll find it and post it.
All my like old experimental shit. I guess since experimental, you could write it off as like experimental, but like it truly is garbage mixing. I had like an old like metal moniker called The View Through 62, and I ended up like wiping all of it off of the internet, off of Spotify.
I need to go and do that.
Any platform. Yeah, any platform.
Actually, a little bit off topic, backtracking a little bit, but I was laughing when you were talking about your experience recording the music video because I was recording not like for my band. It's this band from Edmonton called All Was Lost. I was an actor in one of their music videos recently. That isn't out yet, but I think it's coming out soon. But it was kind of similar. We were recording it in one of the guys, Jeremy, in his apartment. But the problem was it was like 12. It was like midnight or something by the time we were like getting like one of the last shots. And in the shot, we were breaking a mirror, which is obviously loud. And like it was after midnight. And the entire time we were just like, oh, how are we going to do this? What if it doesn't sound good? What if it's really loud? What if it breaks everything? And like it was so loud, man, but like thankfully it was just like bam and then silence after that, so it ended up working out pretty well. But I was laughing because you're like, yeah, I was like saying like under my breath, like whispering, and like that's basically exactly what was happening with a lot of the filming of that too.
Dude, almost the exact same thing happened in the Teeth Gap music video.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I smashed a keyboard. And my friend and I shot it at like, I don't know, probably like 3 or 4-ish. And we like shot in downtown of this suburb. And we shot outside a building that I thought was like a department store. Turns out it was apartments. And so I smashed, I smashed a like fucking keyboard against a railing like many times. And then this guy was like, what the fuck is happening?
Hey, what are you doing?
And I was like, we're shooting a video. He just goes, what? I'm like, we're shooting a video. And he just goes, shut up. And then as we got in my car, a handful of cop cars drove by. And so we assumed he'd call the cops. So yeah, that was pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's funny. Just out in the public, just like, and people are just not about it. They're like, hey, what are you doing? You're making art out here? Stop it. Being a nuisance.
Oh, I mean, it was loud as fuck.
Yeah,
I'm sure he was trying to sleep before he went to his shitty job. So, yeah.
Fair enough. That's funny, though. So, wait, how many music videos do you guys have out then?
Only 2 under our belt.
And are those on YouTube or on just the Instagram TV or whatever it's called? What is that called? IGTV?
Yeah,
IGTV,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
They're on both.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Initially, this is sort of a side story, but initially I posted the music videos under my personal YouTube page. But the thing is that I talk mad shit in YouTube comments. And one day I was really bored, and I was like on a YouTube playlist of like artists that sound like Suicide Boys, and I found this one artist who was horrible, and I just like made some joke about his voice. He wasn't that popular. I realized after I made the comment that he only had like 1,000 subscribers.
Oh
And I was
no!
like,
So he
oh
definitely
shit.
read that comment.
So he responded to it, and
Oh,
then
boy.
the next week, Teeth Gap had like 100 dislikes.
Oh man.
That's
So
funny.
I deleted the videos and I started a channel for Killjane.
That's probably a good idea. That's funny, man. That's like Gratuitous Platypus, who again I mentioned earlier they were on the cast, but they're it's the band that my nice voice crack, Steve. The band that my roommates are in. But I was talking with one of them, George, about like just I don't know, we were just talking about band stuff or whatever, and he was like, "Oh man," he's like, "we have this old YouTube account under our name, like Gratuitous Platypus or whatever," and he's like, and none of us have the password to it. And there's this old music video that we shot when we were in high school. And he's like, all I want is to take that video down. He's like, I want to still have it, but I don't want. He's like, that's the first thing people find when they Google us, and I do not like that.
That's funny.
And yeah, he's like, yeah, we just can't take it down. And I think they ended up having to name their current YouTube account like Official Gratuitous Platypus or something like that. Because yeah, the original name is taken by them, and they just can't access the video.
Yeah, actually, when I initially made the Killjane Instagram, dude, you always find this when you have a good username. It's always some random account with zero followers and
that hasn't
zero
posted
posts.
anything. Yeah,
Ever.
I hate that.
And so, yeah, there's some account just called Killjane with like no posts and no followers, and they don't follow anyone. So I just DM'd them, was like, hey, could you change your name, please? I'll like pay you something. And then I checked back a month later and they had blocked me.
Damn.
They really want that name.
Yeah, right? Like it's like there was I'm not going to say the name of it, but cuz I was talking earlier about how it's still on SoundCloud or whatever. But an old band, like, or I guess solo project that I had this name that I was like, oh, this is a great name. Nobody's ever thought of this before. And I look it up on Instagram and I see it and I'm like, God damn it. All right, fine. Well, this is taken. And then the dude's like, his like Instagram bio is like groomer, musician, gamer. And I'm like, what does that mean? Groomer. I guess this guy's like a dog groomer, but I was like, that's all right, weird. So I was like, all right, well, I'll try the name with like underscores between the words. And then that name was taken. I was like, all right, what about periods between the words? And that was taken too. So I was like, all right, fine. Band name and then band at the end, which I feel like is what you always kind of have to end up doing.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, it's always funny because you're like, this is a cool name. Like, I'm sure I'll be the first person to think of it, or at the very least, the first band to have it. And then you try and get the username, and it's just taken on everything.
Yeah, as far as I've looked, I haven't been able to find another band called Killjane, which is really fortunate.
Yeah.
It's an interesting name. Do you want to talk about the origins of that too?
Nope.
Fair enough.
All right. I think that's
Leave that
a better
undisclosed, I
answer
guess.
than explaining the name.
Yeah, honestly, I respect that. I respect that a lot.
So I've been meaning to ask, you guys got any music in the pipeline, ready to release soon? Working on anything?
Yeah, we're working on an EP, but it's kind of going slow because, like, writing wise, there's a lot of shit I need to fix and we need to work on, and I'm kind of drowning because I got another side project that I'm also trying to keep afloat.
Okay.
I know it's like a very like annoying response of like, oh, I'm in so much shit, dude. It's hard to keep track. But yeah, we're trying to work on an EP, and it's gonna be kind of back to basics, kind of like Jimmy Did It First-esque.
Okay.
I'll say the name is gonna be Red.
Okay. Yeah,
Just
sounds
RED.
good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Nice little tease.
that's all we got right now.
Sick. All right, RJ. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Or I think we're at about an hour, aren't we?
Yeah, we could probably wrap it.
I don't know. Is there any like
Anything you guys
wanna
want
talk about?
to promote,
or
talk about
should we
real
just do
quick?
plugs? Yeah.
Claudia, you got anything?
I do not know.
All right.
I'm trying to think if I have anything to promote. I'm starting an OnlyFans soon.
There you go. Perfect.
Hell yeah.
Uh,
It's just gonna be me.
Naked smashing a keyboard up against a pole
At 3 a.m.
in the middle
I
of
think
a
it's-
parking lot.
I think it's gonna be all keyboard related porn.
Okay.
Of course,
Interesting.
You can do a lot of things with a sustain pedal, man.
Yeah, no, we ain't got shit.
Fair enough.
All right,
All right,
I
well,
guess. Oh, if you're in the area, come see us. Come see us August 13th.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's on our Instagram. Just go to our Instagram.
All right.
there you
yeah,
go. And
and-
Instagram, Killjane Band.
And Spotify, Killjane. Definitely check out all of their stuff.
We'll put it all in the description of the video for sure.
Thank you.
Thanks
All
for
right,
coming
well-
on, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for
Thanks for
having me.
having me, guys.
It's a lot of fun.